Hello and welcome to Radiant Freedom Digital Marketing. And today's video we're showing live footage from our TGI SEO Fridays webinar series. The following is Lesson 7, Part 1 on selecting your topics and writing your contents or articles. And joining us again in the TGI Fridays webinar series is Odin Xavier from the Canadian marketing team. I'll include the links to his YouTube channel and website in the description down below, and I highly encourage you to check him out.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another TGI SEO Friday, where we're going to be talking with Jason Ross from Radiant Freedom on how to get your search engine optimized website or blog or whatever it is that you want to search engine optimize yourself, your brand, out into the marketplace. Today is pretty exciting because we're going to be talking specifically about writing your contents and articles. So you're definitely missing out if you're not in the live Q&A that's going to be happening afterwards or throughout. So always make sure to come on to our live events. But these events are also going to be on YouTube. So you can check them out on YouTube and all the previous great education that Jason from Radiant Freedom has provided us also. So Jason, here we are today, another TGI Friday, SEO Friday, and just want to pass it over to you and say thanks for doing this for us.
Yeah, thank you for once again sharing the hosting with us and inviting me into your platform and your own audience onto here. And today we'll be covering some really cool topics, but first of a quick housekeeping thing is, unfortunately, because I went into share screens, I'm not getting access to stop my video, so I'm getting my face sitting there in the corner of the screen. So if you could just help out by muting everyone's video, thank you. All right, so as I said, we're going to be covering some really cool topics today on Lesson 7, Part 1. We'll be actually covering selecting and writing your contents, selecting your topics and writing your contents or articles for your SEO plan. And so today what we'll be covering is the 6 steps to creating your SEO content. And the first step is building your list of topics. This is a critical step because that's where the rest of the stuff all grows from this. So when you're building your list of topics, the best starting place is to start with your target keywords and then compare them to the main services or products that you offer and what major pain points or your services or products are supposed to solve. And then what you do is begin writing down notes on what topics fit in here, as well as topics that fit in with your focus keywords, what things you want, as well as talk about what things that match your services or products that you provide, and you can give tips or basic solutions on those problems. And you list off all these topics that come up in this section, and some of the things you want to do is compare them to your, as I said, your main services that you offer and what major pain points you want to solve. And this forms sort of the first core of your topics list. And at this point, if you have a few topics here, you can start on step 2 that I'll be presenting in a moment, but in a few moments more like, but there's still more steps to step 1 that'll get you expand out your topic list. And this is really a cyclical process, so you do want to keep coming back and repeating this every now and then. So next part of step 1 is, now that you have some basic topics to work on, it's time to do some more research and really build out your list of topics that you want to cover. And some of the things you can start doing to build out is doing some research. Can you maybe mute the guests, please, so we don't get random noise coming through? And so yeah, so so next step is you want to start researching your topics and looking at basically what you're looking for is what are the things that your target market are asking about. And you can start by asking your clients what their main questions are, relevant to the things that you do and what your main services are, your pain points that you solve, and so on. As well as you can also expand that out to asking your leads what they most want to know about, as well as you can ask around in online groups and live events that you're a part of, that you're a part of, and that your target market hangs out in. Additionally, you could do a survey and ask people what they want to know about. You know, that's actually one of the good uses of the question feature on a platform like Alignable, for example, as well as using services like SurveyMonkey and others. Another thing you can do is take a look at what are your top competitors talking about, because if they're talking about it, chances are it's something that their audience, which is also going to be your target audience, wants to know about. And additionally, you can use tools like Market Samurai that we showed in an earlier webinar, or another related tool that the developers of Market Samurai have called Question Samurai. And as you're going along, you want to keep adding the topics you find here to your list. Now, additional things you can do to continue finding more topics is search out social media and other blogs and look for what comments or posts are on there where people are asking questions. And when you're doing this, you want to be sure that you can answer their questions. And second, that they fit in with your SEO and content plans. And again, add anything relevant you find to your list and keep building out your list. And even as you move on to the other steps, keep adding new topics to your list whenever an idea comes up, whether it's something you're researching gives you an idea, or you're continuing doing these research steps and finding new things. You want to keep building out your list of topics, because as you go along, you're also going to be using up these topics, producing content on them. And that is, the next thing we're going to get to is researching your topics. That's step 2. So research is one of the most critical steps when you're writing your contents, because it makes sure that you know your topic. It gives you the chance to learn new developments in your industry. It gives you access to research data and statistics and expert opinions, which you can then cite in your articles, and also can lead to new topic ideas and opportunities to expand on earlier topics that you've already covered and get into more detail. So, for example, let's say you're writing about a 600 to 800 word article, and you have 3 main points that you want to cover. So while researching your article, in one article, you'll learn something new in your industry that you didn't know about, which allows you to do your job better and better serve your clients. Then you read another article and you find some more info about one of the 3 main points you're going to cover, which allows you to expand on that, prevent some more up-to-date information, additional information you might not have otherwise had. Then maybe you find a video which gives you some additional information about the other 2 of the 3 main points. So now you have 3 points you're able to expand on even further, and you have more than enough information now for your article, which means that perhaps this allows you to then say, expand on all 3 of those key points in separate articles that focus on each one individually, meaning you now have, by doing your research, you've just been able to expand those 3 points into separate topics of their own, each as a new article that you can write about, which forms something that we've talked about earlier when we're talking about your keywords and your contents, which is called a topic cluster, which is basically where you have a group of articles that are all written about the same topics, with one parent article, which would be the original one we're talking about in this example. And then the 3 that expand on the main points of that article become your child or articles within your cluster, and they all interlink with each other, but not outside of that topic. That's sort of the idea here, is you're building this up and you're building your database of contents you can cover. Now, one critical thing is, when you're doing this, give credit to your sources. This is more important than many people realize. So first thing when you're doing this is make sure that you, when you're doing your research, you note down what ideas or data you got from someone else, one of your sources during your research, and cite your sources in your article. So it doesn't need to be a university level bibliography citations. just if it's an online source, a simple link to the page that you got your information from will do. Or if it's a book you were reading, just give them the title, author, and page number so they have enough information to find a specific, enough information to find a specific book and what page you got your information from so they can check your sources themselves if they want to. And biggest thing is it's honest and it boosts your credibility by showing that you're taking the time to research your topics and fact check before you publish. And it's also just good karma. So you're more likely to attract others into your circle that will do the same for you when they cite your information in their articles. And that brings us to this third step, which is writing your article. So now you know your topic, you've got your information there, you've done all your research. So now it's time to write your article. And the first step on that is make sure you come up with a good title. So what you want to do is take your topic, and figure out what a good title would be for that. So for an article, this also acts as your headline and your attention getter. So it needs to fit your topic. And if reasonable, it can also fit your target keywords, but that's really a secondary importance here. The main thing is it needs to fit your topic and be a good, view into what your article is about. And as well as say what pain points it solves or what question it answers and what value your article offers to give. So again, the main thing is it needs to highlight what this article is about and what information it is and get the attention to your article so that people will take the time to read it. Now, once you have your title in place, the next step is to write your opening paragraph. And this is really your indication as to what the key points that your article is going to cover. It also doubles as your snippet whenever someone's sharing your article, they're viewing, let's say, your blog index on your website, and so on. So this also kind of acts as a bit of a semi-subheading, so it needs to really, again, give people a good idea of what your article is going to be about, what your key points are going to be, as well as at the same time be engaging enough to encourage your readers to read the full article, and as well as and promise them what the value is that you're going to deliver. So, the key thing though here is keep this paragraph short, as it's not meant to be your entire article. It's just meant to tell people what your article is going to be about. So you don't want to present your main information here. You just want to tell people what information you're going to present and introduce your main points. It's in the body where you give people the main information that you're going to be covering. So here's where you expand on the main points you brought up in your introductory paragraph. So some of the key things here is you want to make sure it flows logically from one point to the next and is easy to read both on big and small screens. And this part here is where you really deliver the value that you promised. So as you're writing out your article, you want to, in addition to the things I already mentioned here, this is where you want to start adding in your citations for any information that you researched, that you're putting into your article. So depending on the nature of your citation, you could put it alongside the point that you're citing, or you could put it at the end, sort of like an endnote or bibliography style. Again, it just needs to give people enough information to find the information for themselves. Now, a good example of when I would just put it, in the body of the content is when I'm citing an article from a website. Then I'll just make sure that that I just simply include the link in there. I might even include the point I'm giving that comes directly from that website directly as the link to the website so that people can read the full article if they want to. But it's really up to you, depends on what you think would flow best in your article and what your preference is. But as you're writing out your contents, again, expanding on the point I said earlier of keeping it easy to read. Remember, people will most likely be reading it on a computer or mobile device screen. So use as much as possible short words, short sentences, and short paragraphs. So that'll help people to be able to read your contents and really absorb your information more easily. In the body, this is also where you start bringing in your own knowledge and conclusions as well as your researched information. So now that you've written the main body of your article, it's time to move on to step 4. And this is where you start looking at what relevant visuals do you want to add. So as the saying goes, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So first thing you want to do is really choose what's going to be the main image for your article. In platforms like WordPress and others, they'll usually have a feature where it's called a featured image, which you can put in there, which then attaches that image as being the primary image for that article. So whenever your article goes out any kind of feed, social media share, or anything like that, where it's showing a summary of your article, it'll attach that image to your article. So this image, in other words, shows up with your headline and your teaser anywhere that your article is being shared to. So you want to make it interesting and stand out so it invites clicks, but it has to be representative of the contents in the article. And do not clickbait. The reason I have this all caps, bolded, and underlined and so many exclamation parts is this is so important, because you want to give people value, and that starts by not tricking them onto your contents. So also, once you've gotten this primary image selected, you can add additional graphics, charts, diagrams, etc. as necessary. How many you want to add, if you want to add any, depends on the type of article you're writing, who your audience is. So if it's a longer article, you might want to add a few more images in there to help break it up and just illustrate things a little bit easier for people to understand than just words alone. If it's very technical, again, you might want to add some extra images. If it's data intensive, you might want to use some extra ways of presenting the data besides just in paragraphs. And it also depends, again, on your audience. If you're presenting to a very technical audience, say you're writing a medical blog where your audience is, say, doctors, then then imagery may not be as important as if you're writing to the general public about that same topic. But again, the key thing here is it must be relevant and support the written contents in your article. So now you have your article, your topic, your title, and your graphics. Next step is to publish your article. So at this point, you have a decision to make. Do you publish it to your own website, or do you publish it to an external website as a guest article? Well, there's a couple of main factors you want to consider here when you're looking at where you want to publish it. So if you need your contents on your own website more, and you have no other similar articles already published to your website, then you might want to, then it might be a good idea to publish it to your own website so that you fulfill your needs in that area. If, on the other hand, you urgently need to get more backlinks, which are external links heading into your website, more than you need contents on your website, or you already have a similar article that talks about the same main points, then you might want to look at another relevant website that would be willing to accept your article as guest content and publish it there. So that way, that'll help you to expose yourself to a new audience and get that backlink leading back to your website. So now that you've published it, the next step is know your stats. Now, first step to do that is make sure you set up an analytics account for your website and that it's properly attached to your website, integrated with it, and it's collecting your stats. And for this purpose, I typically use Google Analytics. And what this will do for you is it'll help you to track how each article performs. So is it ranking well in search engines? Does it draw traffic into your website? And as well as how well does it compare to your other articles and topics that you've published on your site? Now, if it's not drawing in the big traffic right away, or it's not ranking in the top 10 immediately, don't panic, because organic growth takes time for it to develop. But this does give you vital insights into what topics perform best, which ones will give you that fastest growth and the most engagement. So that way, as you progress over time, you can make sure you focus on the topics that your audience most wants to read about. All right, so that covers lesson 7, part 1. And this has been the live footage from the TGI SEO Fridays webinar series, lesson 7, part 1. And thank you for watching. Now, if you found this information helpful, be sure and hit the like button to let us know. If you have any comments or feedback, be sure and post it in the comments section down below. And if you aren't subscribed yet, be sure and subscribe. Now remember, you're awesome, so shine your awesomeness brightly for the world to see. This has been Jason from Radiant Freedom, and bye for now.